Who am I here with?
Jonathan Frederick.
Jonathan, I got you. And that's Jonathan spelled Jonathan.
Yeah.
Okay, got you, man. Nice to meet you, Jonathan. So, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. Just living in the sun. You know how it be out here.
Oh, okay. As far as like living in the sun, like, what do you mean by that?
Just staying out here in the warm. It gets up to 100. It's hard work out here. Trying to get to work and stuff.
Yeah, I got you, man. Man, you look young. So, what's your age? If you don't mind me asking.
21.
21, yes, sir. Alrighty, yeah, man. So Jonathan, like, what's your current state of being? Like, are you homeless, or are you like, you got your own place?
So I was homeless for a while. I currently moved into the housing authority, a project, Section 8. But yeah, before that, me and my mom, we got evicted. Just the rent was too high to pay for.
I got you, man. Damn. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Freak. How's your mom doing?
She passed away not too long ago. January. She didn't take care of her body. And it didn't take care of her.
Damn, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Freak. What about like any other family members?
I got a couple family around town. Mostly everybody moved out of Bakersfield, trying to get to other places. Mostly the Midwest, like Idaho, Illinois, Nebraska.
Gotcha.
Stuff like that. But in town, I got a couple family. But
damn,
we all struggling.
Yeah, I got you. Freak, man. So you on your own?
Yes.
Damn, 21, man. Like, man, how you feel? How you feeling right now, man?
It's struggle. Just going around looking for jobs. Nobody's really taking any people. But, I make it do. I just use as many resources I can.
I got you. As far as like many resources go, what's your your main hustle? How you make ends meet?
I mostly just I've been selling off stuff my mom left me for right now. But before that, I was doing elderly caregiving.
Okay.
For a good while.
Oh, that's good. Gotcha, man. This stuff. I know you say that you're doing housing and stuff. What's some of like the hardest thing that you're personally like facing right now?
Just with no support system, with no family, it's hard to get to places. It's hard to survive. Sometimes I go without food. Just not having that support group that a lot of people have.
I got you, man. And you talked about like how long have you been like in this position?
About 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Damn. Man.
Yeah, I've been on my own since I was 19.
Man, that's so young, man. Free. How do you like protect yourself from the weather?
Well, so it's a house, so I have a place to stay, stay out of the weather.
Oh, okay.
Usually I walk everywhere, and it gets pretty hot out here, so.
I got you, man. All right. So Jonathan, like before you were homeless, how was your life? How was your upbringing?
So my upbringing was very poor. I lived with my mom most of the time. So my dad, when I was born, he was in prison doing 3 years for drug sales. And he wasn't really in my life for most of it.
Got you, man.
But on the bring up, I was trying to stay in school. When my dad got out, he got off drugs. He tried to change his life around, and he lost the custody battle with my mom, and so we lived in like small apartments, like 1-bedroom houses together. You know, she was on disability for a long time, so we were on that kind of income.
Gotcha, man. How do you think that like has affected you? You know, like growing up, you know, not having like both of your parents and stuff like in your life, your dad going out of jail.
Yeah, it's hard living with a single mother because, you know, she doesn't really know how to work the system with school and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I stayed in school, but I got in a lot of trouble. You know, she didn't really discipline me. You know, just she thought it would be better because my brothers, she drank and did drugs with them, so they had a really, really bad upbringing.
Gotcha.
Compared to me, who got, like, we were poor, but, you know, she had problems mentally. You know, she couldn't get the help that she needed.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't see that there wasn't help that she needed.
I got you, man. Yeah. So Jonathan, do you think that like if you're, you know, your upbringing, you know, you was more like raised in a stable household, that your situation as of now would be different? You know, your life would be different?
Yeah, absolutely. I would have had, if I was in a stable household, I would have had a better start, you know, a better support group, you know, more money to fund education, college, just generally a better upbringing.
Got you, man. So I know you said like, you know, you got housing. You know, have you tried out the EPIC program? I know they like support with helping like young adults get a job. You know.
Yeah, so I went down there and they you can't go through EPIC if you're enrolled in Bakersfield College.
Oh, okay.
But I am with the CalFresh Employment and Training Resources Program. It's over there at Bell Library. If you get CalFresh, you can apply, and they'll help you find a job. They'll write you resumes. They'll do the same thing as EPIC. EPIC exceeds because it has training resources like welding, car mechanics, stuff like that. But right now I'm going through college, so I can't really apply for that. But I suggest that if anybody is going through a hard time in their life, that they also try to go through Bakersfield College, because it's only $46 of credit, and the government will pay for all of it. And you can get welding classes, you can get associates in mechanics, you get associates in engineering, a lot of jump starting stuff.
I got you, man. And what are you going to school for?
I'm getting my associates for transfer in history. I'll still get my bachelor's afterwards.
I got you. And what made you want to get into that?
You know, in high school I was really good at history, social studies. You know, I like writing and stuff. So that's mostly what my degree's about, writing. And then the Gen A classes.
Okay, yeah. So you know, I'm gonna ask you to repeat yourself.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into that field of work?
Well, you know, I always did good in history in high school, social studies in middle school. You know, it's a lot of writing, but it's not that hard of a degree. But for most people who wanted to get a job in the field, you have to get a bachelor's, so you have to end up transferring out of BC to like CSUB or other universities around town.
Gotcha. I got you, man. You know, you talked about like in school, like how you like a bad kid.
In high school, yeah, I was a pretty bad kid.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. You want to talk about your high school experience? You know, how was it for you?
You know, the teachers were nice, but I fell with the bad group. You know, I was easily manipulated into doing, you know, things I probably shouldn't have been doing. I got suspended a lot. One time I got suspended for 2 weeks. I almost got expelled, but you know, I clutched up. I made it work, and I ended up graduating in 21.
Got you, man. All right, it's good that you graduated. Uh, I know you're still young, but like, is there anything that you wish you could have like done differently?
Yeah, I wish I would have really tried in high school. Try to get a scholarship. Just to have that peace of mind.
Uh,
I definitely had the means and the knowledge to get all straight A's, but I didn't have the commitment or the willpower to get it through into a full straight A valedictorian student. I should think if I could go back and tell myself something differently, it would be focus on the high school, just do really good, and meet ends meet.
Gotcha, man. I mean, since living out here on the streets, Jonathan, you ever like get into it like with the other homeless people?
No. So I would always, go into like be by myself, far away from everybody, and not hang around with other homeless people. Especially, when I started living in a shelter, I didn't really talk to anybody. I didn't want to be near anybody. But
got you, man. What's it like living like in a shelter?
It's a lack of privacy. So you're all like, there's a whole bunch of people in one building. You don't really have privacy. You don't have it's not a home. It's a shelter, basically. You can't make it your own. It'll be a place to sleep, but it won't be a place to put yourself up, basically.
I got you, man. Since being out here like homeless, is there anything that you like personally like witnessed that like you can talk about on camera?
Yeah, so on the streets, people would come up to me and ask if I wanted to buy meth or weed or crack, and like they're very upfront about their intentions, about trying to get you hooked, but I always turn them down. It's hard because like they'll come up to you and ask if you're selling too. So they'll come up in your space, and be attention seeking sometimes. But you always gotta turn them down because it's hard to kick it.
I got you, man. Yeah, one of the worst things to like be on the streets is like stuck on drugs because you can't afford your habit. You're
selling your body basically to pay for it. So most people, they end up with nothing. They sleep on concrete with no tent, no blanket. They don't have a single thing to them besides clothes on their back, and it's really bad. And especially if you're on the streets, you can't get off of it at all.
I got you. Damn. All right, Dylan. I got writer's block, but I'm gonna just ask you one more question. So, what's one like piece of advice that you can give me or like the world that you like, that you've learned?
That's a tough one. Let me think. One piece of advice I would give the world is that you gotta put work in. You never gotta give up on yourself, even if you're in a bad situation. You always gotta be looking out for yourself. When I was growing up, I didn't really think I'd make anything of myself. Because that's the environment I grew up in. So it's a mentality thing. Like if you're growing up, you gotta do what you gotta do to build your future. And I know it's hard to look 10, 20 years in the future, but I wish I had looked 10, 20 years in the future, not what I've become.
I got you, man. All right, man. I appreciate the advice. Thank you, Jonathan.